Hey guys, how's it going? Mike from Boosted Adrenaline Racing. Thanks for coming on. Getting a little bit of an update on kind of our program and what we're doing, and just kind of review the 2022 year real quick. So today's Friday, really crappy day out as far as being frigid, but the blizzard of 2022, I think came and gone. Only got about 3 inches of snow, 3-4 inches of snow here in Indiana. So we'll see what happens the rest of the day. But out here in the shop today, just want to give you guys kind of an update on all the rides. We'll update you on Karen as well, and then kind of what our goals are for 2023. So I'll first start off with Karen. She's in California right now, soaking up all the sun for us. Hopefully she brings it back in January. So put her out in California in November of 21. I did some upgrades to the LS, to the chassis when it first got out there. Made a few runs, broke the converter, dropped the lifter, rebuilt the motor, got it back together. Went to Avenal in April and just absolutely had a blast. Best trucks ever ran. I think we ran 9 or 10 passes, with 5 or 6 of those being in the 330s, getting our best of a 333, which for us, we're super excited. I don't know personally anybody else that's pushed the LS platform in a full-size ride to that extent, and has been that fast in an LS platform. I know there's some Altereds and some rails out there that have, but as far as a full-size ride, we're really excited with what we were able to do with that setup. Did we have some left in it? Absolutely. We were by far from tapped out, but we were pushing the limits a little bit on what we felt comfortable doing without putting a rod through the block or sitting the crank on the track. So we got the motor refreshed. Unfortunately, because parts are on back order, that's the whole reason, or one of the main reasons why it no longer has an LS and Karen. We'll get into that here in just a sec. But the LS got freshened up. We should have it back any day now to actually put it back together from the machine shop. So that way we can get it back and get it in the White Buffalo. So we'll talk about that ride just in a second. So the main reason we went to the big block from the LS and Karen, 2 reasons. Number one, couldn't get it done in time. Okay, we were fighting time. September came around, October was the race, and we made a decision that we were going to pull the trigger on the big block. Steven had it laying around, gave me a heck of a deal on it, and we made some calls, got with Jose at Force Induction, got some new turbos on the way to be able to feed that big girl, and got some people on board to help us out to make this happen overall. So I want to give a big shout out to Stephen Chase. He made it happen along with the All-American Racing team. Steve Rozier, Landon Guy, Robbie, all those guys stepped up and got it done in a very short period of time, and we were able to make the race in October in Avenal. So the second reason, unfortunately, as the sport evolves, as people get faster and make changes, you either have to make changes with them or you have to make the decision to stay behind. We're not a team that likes to be slow. We don't want to be at the back of the pack, so we like to stay towards the top, and that's exactly what we did. So at some point, the big block was something we were going to consider anyways. It just so happened to be that it was about a year or two earlier than what we expected. So big block's in there. It's ripping. We did have a little bit of an issue with the converter in Avenal, so it just wasn't the right setup for what we needed. So best pass in Avenal on the big block was a 334, so right on the money was where we were with the LS, and that was on extremely low boost. We're not even close to really tapping into the big block power yet, just because we were trying to shake it down and make sure the chassis was dialed in for the additional torque and power. So had a massive boost leak, so it came up on the brake real slow. Didn't catch it until after the converter was pretty much already tapped out. So now we're at the position to where we got a new converter. So we talked to Marty at Neil Chance, got a converter spec for the big block and the transmission and what our goals are. And we should be good to go. So we have one more race in California. That'll be its last hurrah, Lake Elsinore, January 20th. So I'm making a trip out there. And literally as soon as it gets done racing on that Sunday, January 22nd, it is going on a trailer and coming back to Indiana. So it's going to come back here. We're going to get the body cleaned up because it is pretty beat up from just thrashing on it and really not taking care of it the way we should have. Ultimately, it was those big old V-cuts that you can see right here. They just tore that body up. The fiberglass did not like it. So we're going to get the body cleaned up and get it freshened, make it look good again. And then other than that, we plan on doing some chassis upgrades. So shout out to QA1 for coming on board for 2023. We talked to them at the PRI show. They were fantastic to talk to, and they were ultimately somebody that I could feel could benefit not only our program, but the sand world in general. Okay, so I feel like the bigger names that we can get out there is going to penetrate the sand world to a level of popularity, and hopefully that means we're going to get some more people on board to come watch the races, start building more rides to step up to the plate with us, and just get the exposure that this sport deserves. So I have a lot of passion for this sport. Some of you guys take that as a bad thing. Some of you guys know that it's a good thing. But I do have a lot of passion for the sport, and I really enjoy doing it. And ultimately, I want to see it succeed, whether that's our program or anybody else's. I just want the sport in general to succeed. So getting QA1 on board was a huge step in the right direction. We are going to step up to their mod shocks, which are their new shocks they came out with. More for like the big horsepower guys, so we're not nearly up to that level. But the shelf shocks that we did have on it were tapped out. We didn't have really any adjustability left in them. And with the new mod shocks, you can adjust them on the fly. Obviously, they're double adjustable, but you also can just change the valves out with just snapping them in and out and changing the settings there too. So we're going to do that. That will be done once it gets back here in Indiana because they just don't have them done in time for the last race in California. And so we'll get that buttoned up, and then Karen will be ready to go. First outing for Karen in Indiana is going to be in Wisconsin at the Keys Peak Snow Climb. That'll be our first attempt in Karen on the snow, as well as my first time driving in the snow. So I'm excited and nervous. I'm not ashamed to say that. The snow doesn't necessarily scare me. It just makes me nervous because I'm not used to the terrain. So it's going to be a ride. We'll have fun doing it, and we'll see what we can do to compete. So that's kind of the hoorah on Karen. So next up is White Buffalo. So those of you guys who know, this is the K5 Blazer. Had a twin turbo LS 76 millimeter deal, and it is still going to have a twin turbo LS 88 millimeter deal. So instead of the 76s, we are taking a whole combination that was in Karen, throwing it in here, and it's going to make stupid power. It's going to be stupid fast if you want it to be, but we're going to keep it maintained. Okay, so the reason we went ahead and made that switch is because we want to be able to have power on tap if we need it, but we want to conservatively run the dunes and stuff. That's primarily what the Blazer's for, is the dune ride, and not have to kill the motor doing it. Okay, so we'll tune it, 12, 13, 1400 horsepower, be just happy there, and run the dunes and have some fun. So other updates, we are putting a cage in it. So for everybody who is worried about our safety, I appreciate that. We are going to go ahead and update the cage to make it a little safer. Everything else is staying literally identical. We're not changing the rear end, we're not changing the transmission, transfer case, front end, nothing. It is going to stay the same. We may give it a little bit of a facelift, but probably not. It's the Buffalo, so we don't really care. But ultimately, it's going to be a fun ride. those of you guys who know Tanner's kind of my right-hand man when it comes to helping us out on the team. He's the one that primarily pilots the White Buffalo. I can't drive 2 cars at the same time, at least, and I truly don't want to. I enjoy watching people take the rides out. I enjoy seeing the smile that comes back on their face when they make a rip. And that's why we really bought the Blazer, is to give people opportunity who are interested in the sport or want to get into the sport to drive it, as well as take people for rides on the dunes. It's a safe ride. It doesn't get out of hand too easily, and it's on E85, so we're not worried about methanol burning somebody up. So that's the goal, is to just have a really good year, fun year with White Buffalo. We do plan on taking that to Shush. It will not make Keys Peak, primarily just because I don't want to have to deal with multiple rides there. It's too hectic, and the primary focus is going to be the Jeep and Karen. So next up is the Jeep. So those of you guys who don't know, this is Tyler Barrett's 2001 TJ. Arguably one of the coolest TJs that are around. I mean, there's a couple other really cool ones, but this one is a full street car, plated, insured, windshield wipers, lights. It's got it all. We drive it on the street. We have fun with it, and it flat out gets rowdy. So, but it's also a really cool dune ride and race rig. So those of you guys who don't know, we updated the rear end of this thing last year because he broke it, the 8.8. So we went to a 9-inch. With that means we are applying power a little better than what it was before. So we went to a coilover setup, or a coil and coil spring and shock setup, to a 4-link and coilover setup. So it's applying power a little better now. So ultimately we started running into issues with the transmission and transfer case. So still an LS, had the LSA blower, and we are going to put a Power Glide instead of the Turbo 350 with a SCS transmission, or I'm sorry, transfer case. So gonna have the SCS in it, so have that adjustability to try to apply power a little better for us, and have some fun. So still want to be streetable, still want to have some fun on the dunes, and want to compete a little better at the track. So this ride is by far one of my favorites, just because it's Mr. Consistent. It goes to races, it competes every time it's in a class, and 9 times out of 10 he's taking home top 3 in whatever class he enters, because it is just so consistent. So the goal is to keep it that way, and be a fun ride, and be even more consistent than what it already is. So there's that update. And then last ride that you guys are probably looking in the corner wondering what the heck's that doing in the shop. That's TJ Fielding's old ride. So notice I said old ride. This is not Mike McCord's. This is not Tanner's or Steven's or Jason's or Tyler's, anybody's. This is a new member of our team. And he actually is a sponsor of ours, Advanced Properties. He came to us in, September or October, and wanted to buy this. And we said, nope, can't sell it. Don't want to sell it, can't sell it. It just isn't something that's on the to-do list right now, is to get rid of that. So he asked us if we could build him a ride. We had a ride bought for him that we were going to build essentially from the ground up, and have it ready for 2024. TJ came to us, and he has some other plans in life right now that are going to take priority over racing. And he said, hey, I don't want to let this thing sit. Would you guys be interested in taking this thing over and doing what you want to do with it? Talked to the owner, which his name is Mike as well. And he said, absolutely, I love it. What can we do with it? So we bought the whole chassis the way it is. So it's got the SCS, it's got a Power Glide transmission, and a 540 big block. We did not buy the blower originally. We were going to do a 540 single turbo deal. And ultimately, with just timing and additional cost, it made more sense for us to put the blower back on it. So we went ahead and purchased the blower back from TJ. The only difference is instead of running a injection system on it with methanol, it's going to be primarily a dune ride now. So we're switching over to EFI and putting it on E85. So he wants to be competitive at races, but that's not primarily what he's after. He wants to go to the dunes, line it up on the drag strip, have some fun, and just enjoy it. So it's set up for the dunes better than any ride that we have. So we can take it around the dunes, over the hills, have some fun, rip up those, and then take it on the drag strip, and hopefully have some really good success out there with that. So waiting on the blower. Travis from 616 Motorsports is restripping it currently. Everything else, we're getting the bedsides on it. Cab is already done. All the pulleys and everything are on the motor. We're just waiting on the blower and the EFI hat. Once we get that, we'll put the front clip on, get the front clip dialed in. We're going to wrap it, and then hopefully that's going to wrap it up. So the first outing for the Buffalo is going to be Shush Mountain. First outing for the Jeep. We need a name for the Jeep. Comment below if you guys have a good name. It's all black, just so you guys know. So I'm thinking like Black Betty or Black Widow, something of that nature. So let's make a name for the Jeep. And then we also need a name for the new truck. Not really sure what to call that one. But this first outing for this one is going to be Shush as well. This one is going to be Keys Peak. Okay? So the goal is to take Tyler's Jeep and Karen to Keys Peak. And then for Shush, we're going to take the Buffalo, Tyler's Jeep, and Mike's truck. And then probably leave Karen behind. Karen's not set up for it. It's just not a suspension setup that has a lot of travel. So ideally, we're going to just take the rides that we know and we're comfortable with taking the Shush. If something happens, if I get a hair up my butt, or if we have really good success at Keys, maybe I'll take it up there. But for now, these are the 3 rides that we plan on taking up there. Okay. And then we have Jason's Jeep. So Jason's Jeep, really, really awesome ride. It's turning out awesome. He's doing all the welding himself. It's looking fantastic. He's got the big block, 540 F3 blower, Power Glide SDS deal. Unfortunately, we don't think it's going to be done in time for any of the snow races, which is kind of a blessing in disguise because ultimately a brand new ride. I don't know if the snow is the best place to tune it in at. So we'll get it dialed in, have some fun, and then hopefully be ready for the races in May. So that kind of concludes the updates with what we got going on in the shop, and some of the success that we've had in 2022. And then what happened with Karen throughout the year of 2022. 2023, we are super excited for. Like I said, we're going to go to Keys Peak first, then Shush, and then try to run the Outlaw Series with a couple of these rides, and then just go to some events in Brookville, Cleves, West Michigan, or Silverback Off-Road Speedway, and really just have some fun this year. So we want to compete, we want to have fun. Ultimately, we just want to continue to grow our sport. And with that is more YouTube videos. So we're going to try to penetrate the YouTube market a little more with the Sand World. So I'm trying to get better with YouTube personally. I may end up trying to get a media guy or somebody that is really good with media on board to do the videoing and recording at the races and help out do some editing. But ultimately, the goal is just for our team to try to do most of it. So if you guys do know anybody, or if you're interested in becoming part of the team and want to kind of be our media guy, let me know, and let's talk, and we'll see what we can figure out. So additionally, the 2023 goals are we're going to get the world record. Brian Harrison has it now. He is a fantastic competitor. I truly enjoy talking to Brian at every race that we go to with him. He's got an amazing truck that runs exceptionally well, and I take nothing from Brian. and I truly love competing with him just because he's such a humble guy and wants to see big full-size rides go fast, and that's what we want. So it is a goal of ours to get the record. It's no hidden secret. So January, that's the goal, is we're going to try to get the record. If we don't get it in January, we're just going to keep striving to try to get it in 2023. And we'll see what happens. And then hopefully the next person on deck that's going to beat either Brian or my record is next on deck. And we're going to have fun competing, and we're going to see what we can do to push these rides to our limits, and ultimately just enjoy doing it, right? So I think good competition is fun competition. So we're going to continue battling it out and having some fun with it, and see what happens. So that's the first goal. Second goal is to hopefully at every race we attend, whether it's the Buffalo or Tyler's Jeep or Mike's truck or Karen or Jason's Jeep, we're towards the top of the class, right? I think that's everybody's goal, is to try to be towards the top if you're at the level that we are. And that's what we want to do. So we want to be able to compete with rides like Wine Time and Jason Vanderwall's ride. They are extremely impressive rides. I absolutely love watching them compete. And the goal is to be able to run with those guys. I mean, I look up to what they do and how fast they are. So Swaggers also have a really, really sweet ride that's extremely fast. So we want to try to put our hat in the ring with them and have some fun this next year. So that's kind of what we plan on doing. And then hopefully next year, towards the end of the year, we can do a follow-up YouTube video of this and be just as excited as we are right now to get things going. So I'll give a quick walk around just to kind of give you guys an idea what's going on, and then we'll be good to go. So this is the, first of all, this thing right here is an absolute unit. This is my daughter's ride. She's 2 now, and she rips this sucker around really, really nicely. So, that's probably going to be the winner of all classes next year. Either that or the XR, probably tied. But there's a Buffalo, nice and dirty for you guys. There is no engine in it. I don't really want to pop the hood, but you guys see no engine in it. And then, as you can see, it does have a cage in it, in the back part of it, but there's nothing in the front. So we are going to ideally try to, put a more support here down the doors, over, and then obviously up top a little bit. We're not going to put Pro Stocks in this thing. It is not a all-out race ride. I don't want to treat it like that. I want people to be able to get in and out of it. So it is going to be caged enough to be safe, but not overly caged to be dumb. So then we got Tyler's Jeep, looking clean as usual. So you guys can see there's a tranny and the SCS. Other than that, not much else going on. And then you got the blower truck. So we got the 540 sitting in there. Most of the pulleys are back on it. Fuel pumps on there. Gonna clean up the wiring that's on the back here, just make it look pretty. We still got to run all the injector wires, so we'll clean that all up at one time. Got the fresh trans down there. SCS is in it. Cab's all good. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the inside of this thing. This thing is pretty awesome. TJ and Brock and his team did a really fantastic job on this ride. So you got the Holly Dash. Really cool ride. And then we got the old bedsides put on it. TJ had the other ones airbrushed, and we made a deal to get these ones put on it. So currently in the process of mounting these. So you can see I went ahead and put some Zeus's up top, make it easy to remove them. And then we're going to add support from right there to there. So that way this doesn't wobble. And then back here wobbles really bad. So I went ahead and already kind of built something off of here. So you guys can see I got 2 Zeus fasteners now on the outside with the flat plate, and then just a thin rod going through the frame. So that now, instead of being wobbly, it is really rigid. Where this side, if you guys can see, is nice and wobbly. Okay, so we're gonna get that updated. Get the bed sides mounted, and then again, it's gonna go in for wrap, and should be good to go. All right, so that is the update for 2022. It's been an awesome year. We appreciate all the support that those of you who do support us have given us. We even support the haters. We love you guys. Makes it fun. 2023 is going to be an awesome year. We have a great team back behind us right now, and we don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. So again, one last shout out to Stephen Chase for just being an all-out stand-up guy to help us out with tuning, taking care of Karen while she was out in California. The whole All-American Racing team, Steve Rozier, Landon, Robbie, Ernie, Jason, Nate, all those guys have been superb and have helped us out a ton. So thanks to all of them. Hogan's Land Clearing, QA1 coming on board for 2023, helping us out there. We have BKL Holdings who came on board and partnered up with us. Again, Mike from Advanced Properties. And then we have TCS Suspension, who has taken care of all of our pretty work out in California. So getting all the powder coat dialed in and making it look pretty for us. So at the end of the day, if you can't be fast, may as well look good. So I just want to give a shout out to those guys. Thank you a ton for trusting, putting your trust in us, and allowing us to be the best versions of ourselves. And we hope to not let you guys down in 2023. So for now, we'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Enjoy this weather, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.